In this session, we will complete a portal introduction along with a disclosure form demonstration. So I will start with a general portal introduction, and we will answer the question, what is the program portal? The program portal provides access for approved vendors to view, create, and submit disclosure forms as well as project applications. It's also a place where designees can view and create disclosure forms, but they will not have access to project applications. The program portal is only for approved vendors and designees and not for end user customers such as the homeowner. Please keep in mind that only one login per approved vendor is allowed. However, multiple people can be logged into one account at a time. I also wanted to note that more than one approved vendor ID can be attached to a login. So if you manage or are associated with several approved vendors, please let us know if you'd like those logins combined. Next, how to locate the portal. So the portal can be found in two places. The first is at illinoisshines.com. In the upper right-hand corner, you will see a blue portal login button shown in the screenshot on the slide. The other is accessing it directly at portal.illinoisabp.com. So now I will open up our test portal and start with a general overview. From the home screen, there are shortcuts to the project application dashboard, the disclosure form dashboard, and the batching dashboard. You can also view these dashboards from the menus on the left-hand side of the screen. So I will go through the menu options now. So by opening the vendor menu and then the disclosure forms, you can view, create, distributed generation, and community solar disclosure forms under your approved vendor ID, as well as upload a CSV template to generate forms. The next vendor menu selection is project applications, where you can view existing applications and create new distributed generation and community solar apps. Next is the batching menu. So this will take you to the batching dashboard where you can view, create, and submit batches. The next section is the designee menu. If you are also a disclosure form designee for another approved vendor, you will see additional options here to create DG and CS forms. In this case, we are not a designee for any other vendor, so we will not have those options. So I will go ahead and click the heading again to minimize this. And then next is the project menu, where you can view Schedule A and Schedule B documents from the REC contract for projects that are already under a REC contract or Part 2 verified. And then finally, the contract menu, which will provide you with non-executed copies of the REC contracts for your approved vendor. So that is a very basic overview of the portal and its functions. And now I will go ahead and start the disclosure form demonstration. The first demonstration will review the process to create a distributed generation system purchase disclosure form as an approved vendor. After logging into the portal, you will select the vendor menu icon from the left-hand side of the screen. You will then select disclosure forms in order to view my disclosure form options as an approved vendor. For this example, you will select Create DG in order to open a new distributed generation form. The top of the form will display the form ID as well as the vendor ID. From here, you will select the form type, which in this case will be a project purchase form. You will then choose a disclosure form name. This can be any name of your choosing, but it does need to be unique. You will not be able to duplicate the same name from a previous form. If you do duplicate a name, you'll receive a validation error and will not be able to save and continue. So now that I've entered a unique name, I will select Save and Continue. And this will open up the first section, which is the customer contact information. So I will first select the customer type, which will be large industrial commercial, and then enter the customer's name, address, and phone number. I will also provide a customer email. However, if the customer does not have an email address, you are not required to enter one. But if you do not, you will need to download the email waiver form that is linked here and have it completed and uploaded with your disclosure form. Next, you'll need to select the customer's electric utility. I will select ComEd and then choose Save and Continue. This will bring me to the next section of the form, which is the other party's contact information, where I will first enter the project seller's information, either by typing it in or choosing to use the pre-populated approved vendor information if the approved vendor is also the seller. In this case, I will select to use the approved vendor contact information, and then we will move on to the project installer information, and I will indicate whether the project installer is known at this time. If I select no, I will be prompted to provide 3 possible installers, but in this case, I will select yes, and will use the approved vendor contact information. After the installation information is entered, I will select Save and Continue, which will bring me to the project purchase information. I will first enter the deposit amount owed to the seller at contract signing, then the amount owed to the seller at the start of project installation, then the amount of any intermediary payments along with the timing of those payments, and then enter the final payment amount due to the seller along with the timing of that payment. This section will automatically calculate the project purchase price field depending on what values are entered. So I will select Save and Continue, which will bring me to the fees and total cost. There are 2 sections within this fee section. The first is fees that will apply, and the second is fees that may apply. I will provide an example of both types. So this first is an example of a fee that will apply, and I will select the green plus sign to add a fee line. The name of the fee will be interconnection fee. It will be $200, and it will be due upon application submission and will be one single payment. The total amount will be pre-populated for me based on the inputs. So now I will select a fee that may apply, and this will be a late payment fee. It will be $50, and it will be applicable if the payment is more than 30 days late. So next, I will need to indicate if the approved vendor will charge a collateral fee or withhold part of the customer's rec incentive payment. I will select yes, and then select the collateral fee requirement type, which will either be to charge a fee or withhold part of the rec payment. I will select withhold part of the rec payment and then provide details on the estimated date of return of the collateral fee. I will then enter the amount of the collateral fee, which I've calculated by taking 5% of the estimated rec incentive value. And I will then enter any conditions for the return of the collateral fee. I will then select Save and Continue to open up the Illinois Shines Incentive Payment section. I will be using the embedded calculator to estimate the rec incentive amount. You may also use the standalone rec calculator that is available in the link on the right-hand side. And this calculator is also available on the program website. So to use the embedded calculator, you will first enter the project's estimated first-year production in kilowatt hours, along with the project's AC size. I will then select Calculate to populate the estimated rec incentive payment that can be found in this box below. Next, I will indicate the amount of the rec payment that the approved vendor will pass on to the customer. In this case, I will use the rec incentive amount less the collateral amount that will be withheld. I will now need to indicate if the installation contract is contingent upon selection for the Illinois Shines program incentive. And I will indicate when the approved vendor will submit the application for this project to the Illinois Shines program. Now I will select Save and Continue to view the next section, which is the project installation details. First, I will enter the estimated start date of the project installation. This can be entered either in days from the date the contract is signed or using a calendar date. In this example, I will use 60 days with an estimated completion date of 90 days from the date the contract was signed. I will also need to provide the estimated date that the installer will furnish the mechanic's lien waiver. We'll then indicate who is responsible for submitting the project's interconnection application. And I will then select Save and Continue to bring us to the project design specifications. So first I will enter the project size in DC kilowatts. The next field is the project in AC kilowatts. This is already being pre-populated from what was entered in the previous section, so I will leave that unchanged. Then I will enter the mounting location, either roof or ground. Then I will enter the expected life of the project in years, and then the estimated gross annual electricity production in kilowatt hours. This is also being populated from the previous section, so I will leave that untouched. Next, I will provide a project performance explanation. I will indicate that the project performance is based on PV watts modeling for a south-facing 100 kilowatt system with no shading instructions. Next, I will indicate whether the project includes a battery for energy storage, along with the customer's expected annual electricity usage in kilowatt hours. I will now select Save and Continue to bring us to the net metering and utility rebate section. So first, I will indicate whether an application will be submitted for the utility generation rebate, and I will select yes, along with who will keep the generation rebate. I will then need to indicate if the customer is eligible for the $300 per kilowatt rebate or the $250 per kilowatt rebate. There is information provided below the field on how to determine which rate would apply if needed, but in this case, I will select 250, which automatically populates the estimated rebate amount above. Now I will select Save and Continue to review the project operations, maintenance, warranties, and guarantees. For the first question, I will indicate if project maintenance and operational upkeep is included as part of the purchase contract. If it is included, you must indicate for how many years and who is responsible. Next, I will indicate if project repairs are included. Next, I will indicate if the project is warranted against issues relating to improper installation. If it is, indicate for how many years and by who. Next, indicate whether there is a solar panel manufacturer's warranty included and for how many years. And then indicate if there is an inverter's manufacturer's warranty and for how many years. You'll also indicate if insurance is included for loss or damage to the project. And finally, provide any details on whether the seller is providing a project guarantee. In this case, a production guarantee is being provided, so I will put the details of that guarantee here. I will then select Save and Continue, which will bring me to the additional terms and disclosures. In this section, I will need to detail requirements if the homeowner moves, including the transfer of the solar project as part of a real estate transaction if the home or business is sold. The last box on the page is the additional details or explanatory information field. This is not a required field, however, you can use this space to provide additional details on important information that was not captured in another area of the form. Once that box is complete, you may select Save and Continue, which will bring us to the final section of the disclosure form, which is the Submit and Download. Once you select Submit and Download, you will no longer be able to make edits to the form. So once you're ready to move forward, you can select the green Submit button, and this will bring you to the e-signature and upload page. From here, you have several options to obtain the customer signature. The first is to send the form directly for signature through the Illinois Shines portal. To do that, you will verify that the correct email and customer name are provided, and then select the green Request e-signature button. This will send the request directly to the customer from HelloSign, which is the signature platform used by the program. Please note that HelloSign was previously known as Dropbox Sign. Once the customer signs the form using HelloSign, the status of the form will automatically update to completed. If you choose, you may also download the disclosure form PDF and have the form signed using an alternative commercially available signature platform. If you do choose this option, you will need to include the signature tracking page along with your disclosure form upload. And I will now demonstrate how to complete this. You would first download the disclosure form PDF by selecting the blue download button. You would then be able to take that form and complete the signature through the alternative signature platform. Once complete, you would return and upload the signed completed PDF using the Upload Signed Completed PDF button at the bottom of the screen, which I will do now. You would select the signed form from its saved location by browsing and then selecting Save. You will then receive the confirmation that the signed document has been uploaded, which you can select OK. The disclosure form process is now complete. To view the form, you can select View from the disclosure form menu and select the appropriate vendor. And this will bring us to the disclosure form dashboard where we can now view the form status as completed. From here, I will do a quick review of the disclosure form dashboard and the available actions. You can complete several actions from the dashboard in addition to viewing your form. First, to view your completed form, select the blue View Form link. From here, you'll be able to view all of your form inputs, and you can also access the Upload or Review Documents section. From this screen, you have the option to upload or re-upload the signed completed PDF, and this may be helpful if the wrong PDF was uploaded initially. You can re-upload the PDF here to replace it. So from here, I will go back to the disclosure form dashboard. And now I'm going to go through the action menu for the completed form. So from the action menu, I can download the form PDF or a PDF of the signed form. I can also make a copy of the form, which can be a helpful feature if you need to reproduce a form that has many of the same details as the existing form without having to completely start from scratch. So I will select Make a Copy of the Form, which will create a new in-progress form. I can then select Resume Form to open the form for edits. I will then need to enter a new disclosure form name. But you will see that many of the form's details have been carried over. So I'm now going to return to the disclosure form dashboard, and I will review the archive action. So you may choose to archive any form, and this will not remove the form from the program, but rather move it to the Archive Disclosure Form tab. So I will select to archive a form, and you may find this action helpful to visually clear up your disclosure form dashboard of used, unused, or old forms. You may also view all of your archive forms on the Archive Disclosure Forms tab, where you may also restore any archive forms by selecting that option from the Action menu. This will move the form back to the Disclosure Form tab. So now I'd like to view the Action menu for forms that are in submitted status. These will have two additional actions available in the menu, which are Obtain Signature and Upload Signed Form PDF. Selecting these will provide a shortcut to complete both of these actions. This concludes the disclosure form and disclosure form dashboard demonstration.